everybody, and welcome to our 4 o'clock wellness webinar. Handling the holiday blues. I'm Corey Wise. It says you might see my name is Margaret, but I go by Corey, and I'm a wellness coordinator, Florida Healthcare Plans here in the Holly Hill office. And you are looking at Lisa Dante, who is a licensed mental health counselor with our behavioral health department here at Florida Healthcare Plans. And we are so excited to have her with us this afternoon. So if everybody's ready, Lisa looks ready, and I'm going to turn this over to her. And Lisa, thank you again so much for joining us this afternoon. Looking forward to it.
Thank you, Corey. Hi, guys. My name is Lisa Dante. I am technically the behavioral health coordinator here at Florida Healthcare Plans. I work over in the DeBerry office, so don't know where you guys all are. What's cool is that Zoom brings us all together, and I really appreciate the opportunity to spend some time with you guys this afternoon. And we are going to be talking about handling the holiday blues. I'm going to do a quick screen share and talk about handling the holidays. Handling the holidays. Usually, we have a lot of expectations about what the holidays are going to be. We usually have these pictures in our minds of these beautiful family and friend events that are colorful and happy, where everybody is laughing and getting along and all is bright and wonderful with the world. And it's these expectations that play such a huge part in what our feelings are before and during and after the holidays. These expectations come from Hallmark movies, and movies and stories that we grew up with. Expectations. They are often a big part of the problem because they don't always match what's real. More often than not, the expectations are a trap that we fall into, because instead of those magical moments that look like Hallmark movies, a lot of times the holiday events are something short of that. I chose this picture because it made me laugh out loud. When I found this picture, putting this PowerPoint together some time ago, I busted out laughing because, who hasn't experienced something like this themselves during the holidays? For real? Expectations set us up. And so that's one of the first places to start, is to look at what we are expecting from ourselves and from other people during this period of time. So that's where we're going to start. What are the holiday blues? This information comes from the National Alliance of Mental Illness, also known as NAMI, and they had done a survey that gave them the results that said 64% of people say they are affected by the holiday blues. So when you're walking around out there, most of us are dealing with some kind of stuff during this period of time. 24% of people say the holidays affect them a lot. And I can tell you that here in the behavioral health department, absolutely, that's true. We start to get busier in late October, early November, because that pressure is starting to be felt by a lot of people for a lot of different reasons. What are the holiday blues? We kind of know in general what they are. In a nutshell, the holiday blues are temporary feelings of anxiety or depression during the holidays that can be associated with extra stress and, as I mentioned before, unrealistic expectations, or even memories that accompany the season, because not everybody has the happiest of memories of holiday time. Now, these blues might include fatigue, tension, frustration. And so I'll stop here and ask you, have any of you started looking for gifts for children that may have circled something in the Christmas flyers that have come out recently for the large box stores that are out there? Because if you have, you've probably already realized that a lot of the things that were advertised for children for the Christmas season are not in the stores yet because they're stuck on ships out in the ocean. And so you have little Timmy and little Sally who have circled these things that they're expecting to have come to them. And there can be frustration on the part of the adults who are trying to meet those expectations. There can also be feelings of loneliness, isolation, sadness, and a sense of loss during this period of time. The holiday season typically runs informally from, say, the end of October through that first week of January. And so it's a couple of months that these feelings are kind of floating around in the air, and within a lot of people within your family or your work group, holiday blues are a real thing. So what can we do proactively? I'm a big believer in being as proactive as you can be. And there are a lot of little things that can have big impacts over time that you can do. Number one, sounds easy. This one sounds so easy. Stick to normal routines as much as possible. As much as possible. When you throw in children and travel, that right there makes it a challenge. You may have your regular work schedule that you have to do. The kids are out of school. What are you going to do to juggle that? Maybe you have teenagers involved in sports or activities that they're supposed to continue when you're supposed to be traveling. As much as possible, stick to normal routines because it makes a big difference in just how we cope. And part of that is getting enough sleep. We all want to spend that extra time and those extra hours with family and friends that we may only see once a year. Getting enough sleep, though, is sort of like dropping a pebble in a pond. When you don't have enough sleep, that impact ripples out. It can make us more irritable. It can make us foggy thinking and make some really poor decisions just because we're overtired. And to that end, remember to eat and drink in moderation. There's food and drink pretty much everywhere during the holidays. Avoid alcohol if you notice that you're feeling down. It's a quick and easy way to settle anxiety or upset feelings in the moment, but truly it only makes things worse. The same thing with eating. Some people eat their anxiety. They'll jokingly say they eat their feelings. It's an easy thing to fall into during the holidays, and people will end up feeling worse instead of better ultimately. So eat and drink in moderation. Get exercise, even if it's just a short walk. Exercise has been called a 4-letter word. Ew, the E word. But a short walk. We are so fortunate to work in an environment where we can step outside in this weather that we have right now and just take a breath. Take a 10-minute walk. Because taking that break, whether you're at work or with family that's hard to be around, helps to put things into perspective. To walk outside and look up at the sky. Take a breath. Take a walk. Getting outside and walking around, just maybe one loop around the parking lot, helps to break that chain of negative thinking or tension and readjust your focus. So I'm going to come back to that one in just a second. Okay, as I said before, expectations. We want any expectations as much as possible to be reasonable. And the goals for parties and shopping and cooking and entertaining to be reasonable. The example I gave earlier today was I may want to have a Christmas party to invite over the neighbors and relatives from out of state and do this big thing and have party games and all kinds of stuff. And that is so not realistic and so not reasonable for any number of reasons. But let's just go there for a second. We just moved a couple of months ago, okay? The house we moved into is an older house and is under renovation. Yeah, the contractor had his own injury and is going to be out of work for 2 months. So the house that was under renovation until he got injured, all work stopped. That means the boxes that were supposed to be unpacked to finish the rooms that were, they're still in boxes for 2 months. Now, if I set the expectation that we were going to have a Christmas party with everybody from everywhere, I would be a crazy lunatic. I would. It's totally unrealistic. It's not reasonable. We're going to be lucky if we even have a place to put a Christmas tree with space for kids to open gifts. But you know what? It doesn't matter because it's all about keeping it simple. This year, and for the last couple of years, with the advent of COVID, most of us have had to make adjustments in lifestyle and our expectations and appreciating time with one another in whatever way we can have it. And so at our house, where it is just moving boxes chaos, throw in a couple of large dog puppies, you can imagine. Keeping it simple as much as we can with things as they are. But it starts with realistic expectations for the life that we're living under the circumstances that we're living in right now. We have to be present in this moment and be patient with ourselves and other people. So remember when I said, go outside and take a walk? Just take a walk, look up at the sky, take a deep breath. When you practice that skill, being present in this moment and becoming aware that this moment is truly all that we have, it is. We are not promised 10 minutes from now. We're not promised 10 years from now. What we've got is right now. And the more we practice being fully present in this moment and practice appreciating this moment, there is so much that comes out of that. There is a sense of ease and patience, calmness, appreciation, and ultimately a sense of joy. Because being present in this moment, I am more present with the people that I love. Right now, this minute, I'm present with you. Now, from my perspective, I'm sitting here and I see my computer screen in front of me with my PowerPoint. But for me, you're very present. I imagine your faces. I imagine you being there. And this moment for me is very much alive and very rich because I'm living here, not 10 minutes from now or 20 minutes or 10 years from now. Think about when you step away from some unpleasant moment and just give yourself 10 minutes to walk outside and reconnect with yourself, it helps to put things into perspective. If nothing else, if you'll do this one thing, this one mindset, it's called practicing mindfulness and living mindfully. will have a tremendous impact on your life across the board and will change a lot for you. So think about that. Oh, look, taking a breath and remembering that this is only temporary. The holidays are only here for that little 2-month period of time, and life will go back to normal shortly enough. I know that as far as our renovations, oh goodness, if I try to look ahead and figure out when it's all going to be done, it's temporary. At some point, it will be done. At some point, we will have a functioning bathroom. Yeah, let's not go there. At some point, it'll be done. It's bigger than I am. I can't fix it. I need to find a way to be happy in the here and now, regardless of the circumstances around me. And I do that by being present in the moment and looking for what I have to appreciate. It's only temporary. It's not forever. This one is a big one for most people in the last couple of years. Acknowledge your feelings. If someone close to you has recently died, or you can't be with loved ones for other reasons, they may be living out of state and be under travel restrictions. You might have family members in ALFs, and listen, they're locked down tight. Realize it's normal to feel sadness and grief. It is okay to take time to cry or express your feelings. You cannot force yourself to be happy just because it's the holidays. You can't. Acknowledge how you're feeling and then look for a creative way to channel those feelings someplace else. One of the things that I can share with you is that being realistic, remember those expectations? Being realistic, that the holidays don't have to be perfect or just like last year. As families change and grow, traditions and rituals often change as well, just naturally. Children grow up, they move on, they have families. In the last couple of years, most families have had to make some sort of adjustments in terms of visiting. But just on the normal, kids get married and move away or move across the world. I know that I moved several states away from my family when I was at that age. The other way things can change is through things like death or divorce. And that's where we have to get creative to create new traditions when we have that opportunity. So I'll do a little personal sharing like I did earlier. Being realistic, okay? So many years ago, I went through a rather unpleasant divorce. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. Part of what came from that was the holiday traditions had always been, okay, mom does the cooking, the big, beautiful Thanksgiving spread. But as most families, with shared custody, etc., children start at one house and maybe end up at the other house. And over time, what that looked like was by the time the children got to my house, they would have already had the turkey, the dressing, the pecan pie. So one year, I decided I didn't want to feel those yucky feelings anymore. I didn't want to have the holiday blues on Thanksgiving anymore because Thanksgiving had always been one of my favorite holidays. And I decided instead of staying in the yuck, that I wanted to do things differently, to take care of me. And so, instead of a Thanksgiving turkey, we have the tradition now of Thanksgiving chili. It happens to be made with ground turkey, but we have chili and cornbread and salad, and that turned into inviting other people who were having challenging holiday times to come and join us for the chili. And that turned into it got so big, we couldn't have it in our house. We took it to a park. And that turned into this beautiful holiday tradition of having a giant potluck on Thanksgiving Day at a local park for not just our family, but other families who had their own things going on, or maybe they were lonely and didn't have anybody to spend their holiday with. And we added in a game that everybody looks forward to. We only play it once a year. Some of you may know bocce and what bocce is. We have this ginormous, ridiculous, silly, trash-talking bocce game that it just grew out of something that was not so pleasant, and taking it and turning it into something positive to create community and happy memories. Be realistic and let yourself find ways to create new traditions and rituals for yourself as well as your family. Reach out. If you're feeling lonely or isolated, look for ways to seek community through religious or other social events with or in your communities. Many have websites or online support groups and social media sites or virtual events that can offer support and companionship. Or, as I mentioned, find ways to create your own. You may have to, if you're part of a religious group, pick up the phone, call the church and say, hey, listen, do you have any volunteer opportunities that I could get into during the holidays? Because I'm planning ahead. I know that I'm going to take care of me. It might be that you forego the Christmas tree thing or the usual events that you would participate in as part of your holiday tradition and decide to take a cruise. Truly. You may decide that you want to go see New York. You may decide you want to go spend a quiet week up on the beach in the Panhandle. I've done that too. It was wonderful. Be open. And remember, it is okay to give yourself some alone time so that you can maintain the patience that's needed. And taking a moment to yourself is worth it. Trying to balance time with alone time. Okay? So whether it's 10 minutes, I'll be right back. I've got to go get the mail. And you step outside to take that walk, look up at the sky, and take a few deep breaths. Handling the holiday blues is not a once and done. It takes practice, and it's a process, and you get better with it the more you practice. You got this. Take some time. I love this image because I think this is a great visual representation of really what's going on up here in most people's minds through the holidays. Find a way to find your Zen. For somebody, it might be walking. For somebody else, it might be meditating. For somebody else, it might be crocheting. For somebody else, it might be playing basketball at the local park. Different strokes for different folks. So if you find yourself in one of these family events that is not quite so Hallmark, you know that you can take a minute to find your Zen. And the other thing that I absolutely love is we all have these phones that we take with us everywhere. There are so many apps that are available. These are just 3 that I know of. I believe there are costs associated with these 3. You can download apps to help you to practice mindfulness, to practice meditation, to practice calming breath. One is called Pacifica, one is called Calm, one is called Headspace. Calm and Headspace have been around for a while and have had a lot of advertising, but there are others out there. And no one really notices when you pick up your phone and I'll be right back. I have to go take care of something. So even if you're with your family, this is a great cover for you to be able to escape if you need to. Bottom line is practice self-care. Start now. Practicing doing those things that help you to feel better and to feel stronger. I personally like to craft. I like to walk, truly. I like to go pace in my driveway at night and look at the stars. Yeah, I like to walk during the day and look at the blue sky. There's something that is peaceful for me about walking in the dark at night. Somebody else, that may create anxiety. So find what works for you, because you're not going to find me sweating, shooting baskets at the park. Nope. Or fishing. Oh, goodness. But for somebody else, that's the most amazing, relaxing thing for them. That is self-care. Do you know how many times I've given people homework to go fishing because it's a thing that they love and they never do it? This is the time of year to pay attention to what fills you up and makes you feel better so that you can be present when you're with other people during this time, so that you can be present enough to know that maybe things are not going well for you and it's time to reach out and make an appointment to talk to somebody, to learn better ways to practice self-care. And whether that's reaching out to someone in our behavioral health department or reaching out to the employee assistance program that we all have access to, do that. Take care of you, because that's where wellness really starts. I want to thank you guys for your time and your attention and being a part of the webinar and focusing on being proactive in your holiday season. Thank you.